common sense would tell you that slowing me down is going to take a heck of a lot more braking force than slowing him down. A, because of course I'm a lot heavier, and B,
you're probably faster than me at the start.
You got it in one. However, that's not exactly true, because Owen Coots is the former mechanic of CRC PayPal and also Trek Atherton. Owen, thanks for joining us. Today,
Thank you.
We will be covering one of the biggest weaknesses of downhill racers, and that is braking. Well, actually, we will be looking at the component parts to eMTB brakes, a few head-to-head brake runs, and a realisation that discs, pads, lever and caliper choice isn't as straightforward as everyone might think. Owen, obviously you've worked with the pros, but you're a big mountain biker yourself. What would you say are the top 3 things that we require out of brakes?
Power, we want to stop on time. Reliability, so that consistent in stopping. And I guess the other thing we need is silence. We don't want noisy brakes. None of that.
I'm so bored of that. I am so bored of it.
Yeah.
3 things there, folks. I don't think it's too much to ask, Owen. Now, the best brake setup is one that is suited to you and the type of riding you do, your weight, the length and steepness of the descents that you get involved in. It's a very complex business. It's pointless having brakes that are too strong and fierce, and similarly, ones which are too weak and vague. But look, it's not just about power, is it? Because most people tend to feather the brakes when they're riding their eMTBs, but it's good to have that peace of mind that you've got the full force of a brake if you're in a moment of trouble, don't you?
Definitely, there's lots of human factors involved. How you're using the brake, where you're riding, how many fingers you're using on the brake levers.
Oh, the fingers. I knew you'd bring that into it. So with that in mind, let's get this whole business of braking rolling. Or should we say stopping? So we have got an incredibly steep hill, and we've got a braking point in which we shall insert 2 sticks, which is the start of the brake. We've also got 2 riders, 95 kilos versus
70 kg.
We've got 2 further sticks. We've got a big old stick versus
a little skinny stick.
And that measures our braking distances. We've also got the business of fingers. Whoa, before getting started, let's have a quick rundown of the brake systems that we'll be using. Magura have provided us with a range of brakes to compare. We will be starting on the MT5 E-Stop 4-piston brakes with 220 rotors, and then we will be swapping to a 180 rotor front, and finally switching to the MT4 E-Stop 2-piston brakes. In this video, we want to give you an overview of the component parts of an eMTB brake and give you a glimpse into the effect of changing 1 or 2 of these parts. We want to make it very clear that our head-to-heads are simply examples, not a science video. So what we've got, as I mentioned, is a crazy steep hill, probably be hitting about 40k an hour. It's a no brake challenge, so it's not just about the brakes, it's about your bottle as well. So Owen, 3, 2, 1, go! Oh, he has gone. No, you braked before! Like I said, it's technique as well as brakes.
I speed took too much.
You freaking braked up there! Let's look at the evidence here.
You've got to count the bike in there.
Oh dear. Oh dear, there's cheating already. Looks like the braking started. If the bike is that long, it looks like you started braking here.
Oh dear.
That's a red card, Owen.
Have I got 3 goes?
I'll give you one more go. I mean, all those years he worked with Sam Hill and he still can't brake. Then again, I guess Sam Hill didn't brake, right? Oh. And here we have the Welshman's first stopping distance. You are a Welshman after all.
Yeah. 53%.
53% Welsh. Wow, that is ridiculous. That is twice the distance it took me to stop than for you. So I guess, Owen, if you applied those physics or maths, then the increased weight of an eMTB will require more braking force than an MTB, I guess. But Whereas we're working on a down scenario, I guess the great thing about eMTB is it's up, down, along and across. We're covering a lot more ground in the same space of time, so potentially a lot more braking.
And this test isn't going to be exactly what you do on a trail, because you kind of be, you know, your exit speed and entry speed is going to be different. It's more about flow on an eMTB versus just stopping to a dead stop.
Absolutely. Now, the first run we did one finger tuck braking, as Owen pointed out. Next time, and it's quite interesting because the man behind the camera is a Himalayan climber. He might think that the power of your fingers might have an influence on the braking distance. We're now going for 2-finger braking, or maybe on me, it's kind of 1.5-finger braking. You remind me of Eddie the Eagle going off that start. Okay, the 2-finger brake. So you basically got a 2-meter difference there. 2-meter difference just by going for a 2-finger approach. It's better, but it's not Owen distance. I think I've gone 2 meters shorter as well. That's quite consistent, isn't it?
It's really consistent, yeah.
Wow. So I think, Owen, should we get the 180 on to see if we can get you to my braking distance? Brakes are very much dependent on rider weight, trail type, climate, rider skill, technique, and as we proved, you don't always need the biggest calipers and discs all the time. Magura do two types of disc. Actually, they do 4 types of disc, but in general, they got floating discs and the standard discs. And some of the discs have actually got a space there for the magnet of your e-bike sensor. Now, when it comes to the individual discs that Magura offer, we've got the MDRP, which has interlocking of the outer and inner rings, maximum heat resistance and braking power from this puppy. The MDRC, which is optimized for eMTB use, particularly stiff and vibration resistant. And then, of course, we have the very popular Storm HC disc. The levers, I do love a good brake lever. Remember, Magura do the HC3 Danny McCasker lever, as well as that longer reach lever used by the world downhill champion Loic Bruni. Now, changing your lever will affect many things, such as the grip, the braking force, the reach, the bite point, and the weight of your brake lever. So lots of things to consider there when you're choosing your lever alone. Oh, and I got to say, this is really heartwarming to have some real-world mechanics going on in the woods without all that ridiculous cleanliness, greasiness of a work stand and millions of tools which I would never use.
Well, that's true.
You only need really a set of Allen keys. You only need a set of Allen keys to fix bikes.
These are torque wrenches, not Allen's, but I mean, it's same.
3, 2, 1. Oh.
That's cool.
Right.
Actually makes a difference.
Is that 1-finger or 2-finger?
2.
2-finger. Now, before you go and do your 1-finger run and my run, which I'm not looking forward to, 2-1, it's worth noting that tyre tread pattern and pressure is also very important, isn't it?
Huge difference, yeah. Is that the same?
That's, huh? How have you done that?
Practice.
I think you've consistently taken a longer time to brake on the 180 front.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, right, my turn. So, would it still take me double the distance of Owen to slow me down? I think quite surprising what happened when we switched to a front 180 rotor. I think we did believe we'd take longer to brake with the smaller rotor, which we did in the first runs.
Yep.
However, 2 things happened. The first thing is we changed our technique. We applied more forwards weight to the bike,
yep,
which brought the braking distance a lot further back. And secondly, we do believe that the heating of that 180 rotor takes place quicker than it would on a 220, right?
Yeah.
Now, so far in this video, we've been using the Magura MT5E stop brakes with the sport pads and of course the 220 discs. But when we saw the real changes, it's when we switched one component part of that braking system, and that was going from the 220 to the 180mm caliper. So as we mentioned a minute ago, we saw the difference in the heat on the disc, and also myself and Owen adapted to the body weight and the effect that had on the braking distances. Now, the main component parts to Magura braking systems are first of all the lever. They come in either 2-finger or 1-finger. The disc pads, we'll come on to that a little bit later. 4 different types of brake pads from Magura. As I mentioned, we've been using the sport pad so far in this head-to-head. Then there's the disc. We've got floating discs, or we've got standard discs. We've got 160s, 180s, 200s and 220s as the main disc sizes. And then, of course, the main thing is the brake caliper itself. So guys, whilst that might sound very simplistic, changing each one of these component parts will have a massive effect on your braking performance. Now, whilst some of the head-to-heads we've been doing today will be similar on many of the brake brands on the market, the same cannot be said about performance and the reliability of some of the component parts. The same can be said about brake pads. I mean, how many of us have experienced brake pads that wear out in simply a number of days or weeks? I guess it all comes down to the weather conditions, the climate, and also the sand composition of the trails that we ride. Now, Magura define their brake pads based on 5 different qualities, and you can see that on the back of the disc brake pad box. So you've got bite dry, bite wet, fading, durability and noise. It's all there in black and white for you to choose the optimum pad for the type of riding you do. Now, add to that, Magura do 4 different types of brake disc pads. You've got the sport performance, the race for the downhill boys, and the comfort, which I haven't got because I think Owen's run off with them. Owen, it's lovely to see you again. Did you have a nice time back in the car park?
I did. Did a bit of sunbathing and saw a colleague. It's great.
And fitted some 2-piston MT4 e-bike brakes. Oh, I think you could have made that a bit shorter.
Bit of skidding.
Oh, I've got to say, that is impressive. To our massive surprise, the 2 pots were literally only centimetres off the distances set by the 4 pots. And again, another braking record set by the 2-piston calipers. It's the heat, isn't it?
I think it is the heat. I think just for this shorter hill, we're yeah, it's working better.
I tell you what, Owen, I'm fading, but the brakes aren't.
Classy.
You like that?
I like that.
You like that?
Yeah.
You like that, him and camera?
So, like on a long day, maybe the bigger rotors on a big mountain won't fade.
I think I'm with you. Wow, what a day braking, Owen.
Yeah.
From 95 kilos me, 220 rotors, 4-piston caliper, 1-finger braking at this point.
Yep.
I came up to this point, which was with the 2-finger braking, the same caliper rotor size. Now coming into your zone, right?
I think I'm a little bit further up the hill.
Ah, right, okay, let's just walk up here. It is actually double the distance. We're on the 4-piston 220 rotors.
Yeah.
This is your zone.
Yeah.
And I think it's in this zone we started to notice the fact that actually you, on 220, when we switched to 180, you were in the same zone, weren't you?
Basically, yeah.
And I think the reason for that was that we thought, hold on a minute, there's 2 things at play here. There's the heating of the discs and the brake pads.
Yep.
And there's also rider technique. I think it's at this point we thought, right, we need to shift our weight forward on the bike to get more force onto that front tire, didn't we?
Yeah.
But I guess the only thing that needs to be said, folks, is don't forget that where you ride, how you ride, your weight, the climate, the ground conditions, the trail type, whether you're in the Alps or Himalayan territory, Himalayan climate territory. But all needs to be said, Owen, is congratulations to Joey behind the camera, but he now holds the world record of braking on this hill.
It's really impressive. Quite jealous. He's got the skills.
Tit tat.